Let's talk about how to rewire your brain for a better life. How can we truly change who we are? The answer lies in our brain's remarkable ability to rewire itself. It's a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's amazing adaptability, allowing us to learn new skills, play a musical instrument, recover from brain injuries, and even alter our behaviors and personality traits. Research has proven that with deliberate practice, we can harness this power to change our habits and improve our lives. In other words, you can choose to be new. Choice is a gift, one of the most valuable gifts we have been given as human beings. Think about it. We are the only beings in all of creation that has the ability to choose one thought over another, to choose with intention instead of reacting out of instinct. And with this fast track to self-discovery, you have all the info you need to make better choices and to actually create new neural pathways in your brain and show up newly. So let's chat about three real-world stories. Here they are, 3 real-world stories of how our authors at Hope Publishing House has radically changed themselves from the process of writing their book. First person, let's talk about Tiffany. Tiffany Hibbard started our authors program writing I Am Still Here, a book about her healing journey after losing her late husband. She wanted to show readers who had also experienced loss how to move forward in their new normal with grace and with joy. But in outlining her book during the Writer's Retreat #1, she began to notice some patterns. She found that quick key to self-discovery. Tiffany noticed that her outline was focused on her identity as a widow. Most of her chapter titles were about her husband and the hole he left in her life and in their community. Armed with that information, she made a choice. A beautiful, bold, strong choice. Tiffany decided to write her book about herself, her journey, her growth, her redesigned life after loss. What a glorious new perspective. And in giving herself permission to be the hero of her own story, she realized that she could give her readers that same freedom as well. Wow. Beautiful. So freeing. Tiffany found freedom in that new way of being. The same is true for Kelly Cummings. Kelly, who is writing her book called It's a Lifestyle Thing about her experience in real estate, investing, and retiring early. As she outlined her book, she realized that her skills in these areas translate to all aspects of her life. Yet, one of those absolutely vital skills, self-advocacy, something she had honed in her years as a designer and in construction projects, she was struggling to use it at home. And like Tiffany, she noticed a pattern in her table of contents. She could easily be the badass boss at a job site, but she found her voice stifled in her own family. That realization gave Kelly the info she needed to make a powerful choice. She chose to work on this skill at home, to be more self-expressed and to advocate for herself and her unique and beautiful perspective with her husband and 2 boys. Kelly and her family will never be the same. Talk about a lifestyle level up. And then there's Raquel. Raquel Plume, the author of Meant for More, didn't know she was writing a book about trauma. Seriously, the core premise of her book was a surprise that came along the way. But just like Tiffany and Kelly, Raquel began to notice patterns in her stories. As she wrote, she saw the roots of her values and personality begin to form on the page. And Raquel made one of the boldest choices of all. She took responsibility for her life. She chose to write about how she allowed trauma at the hands of others to run the show in her own head. She chose to leave that pattern behind, to be new. In her own words, she chose to be Raquel 2.0, a woman of authenticity and integrity who holds herself accountable and chooses the fulfilling life she was meant for. Then there's Julie Green. She joined the author's coaching program because she wanted to share her story of rediscovering joy after her son's death. She pictured her book showing others the path through grief after traumatic loss. Now, at the end of the writing program, Julie is unrecognizable. Where she once struggled to maintain boundaries around her schedule, Julie now prioritizes her time because she truly believes in how important it is to get her message into the hands of the people who need it the most. She grew that backbone about her book, but it has given her strength in all areas of her life. Julie now asks for what she needs because she knows she's worth it. She speaks with clarity and poise. Eyes turn to her in the room, and she welcomes them. She has become a community leader herself. She doesn't just dream of her book helping others. She sees her book being the launch of a larger grief recovery coaching program where she's the thought leader running it all. The book is just one way that her story can reach the world. And it is a door to seminars and to retreats where Julie can lead others along the path to reclaiming joy after loss. She hasn't even published her book yet, and she's already running mental health fairs. The dream grew because Julie grew, and the world is better for it. And that's what happens when you write a book with Hope Publishing House. That's what happens when you just write a book with any author's program. All of these incredible authors started reinventing themselves from their very first writing retreat. And you can too. You can reinvent yourself. That is what neuroplasticity is all about. You can see more about what's possible for you when you can actually believe that in neuroplasticity, this ability, this beautiful ability, the capacity of the brain being plastic to actually create new neural pathways. So I get it that imposter syndrome is real, and you can feel that you are being inauthentic when you create a new intention for yourself or a new possibility, a new way of being. But I promise you, my friend, with practice, the brain acquiesces. It does. The brain actually can be retrained so that these new ways of being, these new habits that you're practicing, they become you. You embody them. You actually can retrain your brain so that you can show up newly and it's authentic. It's authentically you. It's how your brain is now wired. It's how you've programmed your subconscious mind just by practicing this new way of being, intentionally creating these new habits and then just practicing them. One of my very favorite mind shifts that I teach all my clients is you become who you practice to be. So who do you want to be? Who are you creating yourself to be today? Make a list of all of the high values that you have. Make a list of all of the ways of being that you feel are inspiring for you. And then just start practicing showing up in those new way of being. Just show up with these new values and practice being that person. And before you know it, you are literally creating new neural pathways. Just like learning a musical instrument, just like learning a language, your brain at any age can learn a new skill. And then that new skill, which is just showing up, practicing being this new habit, practicing being this new way of being, whatever it is, generous listener, compassionate, highly intellectual, a ball buster. Maybe you just need to be stronger. You need to have more confidence. You need to show up more boldly. Maybe that's your new way of being. You practice that new way of being. You are the only creature in all of creation that can choose one thought over the other. And with this power called neuroplasticity, it's just a matter of time before choosing one thought over another, one habit over another, and you consciously choosing that, you will retrain your brain, reprogram your subconscious mind, and those ways of being will be authentically you. No such thing as imposter syndrome anymore because you took the time to intentionally choose new ways of being and practice them. Because, my friend, you become who you practice to be. Are you ready to share your wisdom with the world? A published book gives you instant credibility, increased income, and a global impact. Get registered for the Hope Publishing House Authors Program, and let's make a difference together.